Good afternoon, students.
Good afternoon.
How are you?
Good.
Well, today we're going to review fiction and nonfiction. Do you remember the stories that we read the other day about elections? We read one about a duck, and the other one was about cool facts about presidential elections. And this is what our diagram looked like. I wrote it back up here for you. And in the story about the duck, the farm animals could do all kinds of things like use pencils and vote and talk and read. They could read too. So that's just for you to remember what we did. Today I brought two more books with me, and they are both about, what are these books about?
Frogs.
Frogs and toads. That's right, amphibians. Now I want to know if you can look at the illustrations here. I don't have any place to put that in here. If you look at the illustrations here, can you tell the difference between which one is fiction and nonfiction?
That one has a picture, a real picture.
A real picture, we call that a photograph. That's right, and this is a drawing. Illustrations are really drawings or paintings, and you can look in a book and you can see, like in this illustration, there's a toad and what's he doing there?
Reading a newspaper?
Reading a newspaper. And what's he wearing on his body?
Clothes.
Clothing. Do you think frogs wear clothes in real life?
No.
No. And there's a frog with a fishing pole. Do you think a frog catches flies with a fishing pole or with another one?
With his tongue.
With his tongue. Good job. So I can look at these pictures, these illustrations, and I can kind of tell whether this is make-believe or real. So I know that this book is
Make-believe.
make-believe, and we call that fiction. This story is about frogs, and it has photographs, just like you said, Mrs. Mann. And if we look in this story, we'll find something really neat here. There's a toad in this book. And you know what? There's an index in the back. You know what an index is? An index tells me names of different things in this story. And I want to find a frog that's in here, and I can look for the name. Where's that toad? I think it's a spadefoot toad under S. And I can find it in this storybook. It said page 28. Do you think it will work? I hope I read it right. That's the right page, but that's not the right toad. Because I forgot the name of him. But he might be up here at the front. There he is. Look at that. Same toad. But you can tell that this is a photograph. It looks just like a real toad you could almost touch. And this is a drawing. And that's how we can tell the difference sometimes between fiction and nonfiction books. A nonfiction book like this one also sometimes has a glossary. Does anyone know what a glossary is? No?
No.
Well, good. A glossary has words and it gives the definition. So it tells me what an amphibian is or what a predator is. I know one of you knows what a predator is. Do you know what a predator is? Like the eagles we've been watching? That's a predator. An animal that lives by hunting other animals or food. Oh, look, I didn't even start that. I'm going to really run out of time. So that is what the glossary is. And what did we say this part up here was where you can look up animals?
Index.
Index. Very good. Now, we're going to look at some short storyboards. Do you guys know what a storyboard is? Have you ever seen a storyboard? Sometimes you organize the story by these pictures that you see, and Mrs. Mann or Mrs. Lauer has you, that's confusing, number them according to how it happened. And those are little storyboards. And I'm going to use some storyboards here to have you tell me which one is fact and which one is fiction. And I want you guys to set them in different piles. based on what you think, okay? I'm gonna give you 3 sets. And I'm gonna give you 3 sets. Now you'll have one picture that is fiction and one that's nonfiction, and they will have similar things in them, but you can tell one is real and one is not real. And I want you to circle any clues that you see in your picture or in the words that are on your picture. If you need any help reading, tell me. I'll help you read the word.
Them by.
Sort them, and as you're sorting, you may circle things that make you think, I think that's fiction. And if you think it's nonfiction, you can circle something that gives you a clue. Now remember, nonfiction is real, true facts, and fiction is make-believe. So you just need to sort them into piles. Fiction in one stack and nonfiction in the other. And I'm going to give you, looks like we've had about 1 minute, I'm going to give you 4 more minutes to complete it. And then I'm going to come look and see if you've got them ordered right.
What does this say?
This says green blob bob. This one right here says NASA. Do you know what NASA means?
I've seen that before.
NASA is an organization that really makes spaceships.